Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever really stopped to think about the amazing science, the deep craft behind something simple, like a cookie
Mm.
or a loaf of bread?
hmm
Today we're doing a deep dive into baking. We've got sources covering, well, everything from the basic chemistry right through to cookies and artisan bread.
Yeah.
And our mission, basically, to pull out the core ideas, maybe some surprising facts, and give you some practical stuff that shows why baking is, well, both science and art.
And what's really fascinating when you dig into the material is how one little choice, like heat type, changes everything.
Right.
Our research really highlights this difference. Baking, in an oven that's dry heat, it triggers the Maillard reaction.
The browning.
Exactly, that chemical magic that gives you a brown, crusty outside. And there's complex flavors, but steaming. Totally different.
Moist heat.
Yeah, most heat. It actually stops browning. You get a really soft, very moist texture, and often better nutrient retention, too. It's like a foundational choice.
That distinction's so important, isn't it? It's not just random. It's like you're engineering the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of engineering, the sources are really clear on this. Baking is precise science.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not guesswork. Measuring accurately isn't just, a nice idea. It's paramount. Tiny changes can throw off the texture, the consistency, the whole thing, basically.
And that precision feeds right into safety. That's something the sources really hammer home. It's non-negotiable.
Okay.
They talk about always wearing the right PPE, personal protective equipment, things like a clean uniform, hairnet, proper non-slip shoes.
Right, the practical stuff.
Crucially, keep your workspace clean, dry, organized. Check your gear before you start. Always use oven gloves for hot stuff. Be super strict about cross-contamination.
Makes sense.
Clean up spills right away. And yeah, don't rush. These aren't just pro-kitchen rules. They're vital for you at home, too.
So basically, don't let your science experiment end with a trip to the ER. Okay, so once we've got those basics down, our deep dive goes from the lab straight to cookies and biscuits.
Yes.
Which is confusing in itself, right? If you're in Australia or the UK, a biscuit is usually hard, crisp.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the U.S., a biscuit is that soft, flaky thing, often with gravy. Our sources say what Aussies might call a cookie is often bigger, chewier, sweeter, maybe with chocolate chips.
Yeah, the terminology definitely varies. But looking at the actual making of these things, fat is just huge.
So.
Well, butter, shortening, whatever fat you use, it really changes the dough. It tenderizes by shortening gluten strands. That's actually where shortbread gets its name.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Plus, fat adds flavor, richness, helps create that delicate texture, and it influences spread and browning too. The type of fat, even its temperature, makes a big difference to the final bite.
Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting for me. How do you control whether a cookie is crunchy or chewy?
Right. It's not random. Our sources show it's like a dial-turning exercise. Several things matter. Okay, so fat content and type more solid fat often means crunchier. Sugar content and type granulated sugar helps crispness. Brown sugar adds chewiness.
Got it.
Then there's baking time and temperature. Longer, lower often equals crispier. Moisture content, less moisture, more crunch. Simple, really.
And flour type?
Yeah, even flour type matters. Higher protein flour can make things chewier. Lower protein gives a more tender result. It's all interconnected.
Wow, so many levers to pull. And what about stopping them spreading too much? Any tips?
Definitely. The material suggests using cold, firm butter. Chilling the dough is a big one.
Okay.
Also, keeping a slightly higher flour to fat ratio can help. Don't overcream the butter and sugar. Oh, and bake them on trays lined with parchment paper.
Good practical advice.
And beyond just texture, the beauty is you can customize them so easily.
Right, changing the flavor.
Exactly. The research shows a basic recipe is just a starting point. Add chocolate chips, nuts, dried fruit, or citrus zest, spices, cocoa powder, different extracts like almond or coffee. You can even go savory.
Herbs or cheese, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. A completely different direction.
So, okay, we've mastered the cookie science. Now, our sources take us deeper into artisan bread. What makes something artisan, really?
Generally, it means using traditional methods, often slow ones, minimal additives, high-quality natural ingredients, usually just flour, water, salt, and leavening.
And the result?
You get unique flavors, great textures, often that lovely rustic look. But the real magic, that's yeast and fermentation.
Explain that a bit.
Well, yeast is the main leavening agent.
Yeah.
It eats sugars, releases CO2 gas. That's what makes dough rise and creates those air pockets.
The bubbles.
Yep. And critically, it contributes hugely to flavor and aroma. But fermentation, that's where the deep character develops. It strengthens the gluten,
Yeah.
makes the dough easier to handle, and even improves digestibility. It takes time, but it's worth it.
It's amazing chemistry from such simple stuff. So for someone baking at home, how do you know when the dough's actually ready after all that waiting?
There are clear signs. Visually, it should double in size. That's the main one. Then there's the finger poke test. Gently poke the dough. The dent should spring back slowly, maybe halfway.
Right. Not too fast, not too slow.
Exactly. You want an airy, elastic feel. And sometimes you'll see visible bubbles on the surface. Those are all good signs fermentation's done its work.
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture, it seems like from getting measurements just right and being safe to balancing ingredients for the perfect cookie texture or that slow craft of artisan bread, baking is this incredible journey of transformation.
Absolutely. I think this deep dive shows it's less about just following steps and more about understanding. Understanding the chemistry, the craft,
Yeah.
how simple things like flour and water become these amazing comforting foods or, culinary masterpieces.
So maybe the next time you bite into something fresh from the oven, just take a second. Think about the hidden science, the art that went into it. What could you maybe explore in your own kitchen now, knowing all this?